Okay, so that's a whole lot of gluing. So what I did was I glued the pattern paper onto the cardstock and I put it on all three sides, and then I put one of the blue ones on the bottom. So I'm going to do the top one now, and you just want to go around your edges because you don't want them drying and flipping up on you. And I'm going to put that across the top here. Kind of center it. There we go. I'm going to flip it over so I can burnish that because you want it to lay nice and flat. This burnishing is good to spread that glue around. Okay, so there's our bottom. Here's our top. Now, this is the little drawer that's going to go inside. So what I did was I put this inside to see which side would fit in the best. This went in the best, so I'm going to push this back in here just to show you. And this is going to become the drawer. Right like that. Now we're going to cut a little notch in here so that this will come in and out. Now this is the little sentiment that I chose for the front. This measures 3.5 by 3.5, and it was also from that Beach Days, the Snickerdoodle Designs digital kit. So what I'm going to do, oops, watch that glue. I don't want anything to sag here. As that glue sets, it's very pliable, so you can make sure your edges stay nice and straight. All right, so I'm going to take a 2-inch punch, and I'm going to punch out this little notch. Put that upside down, and I'm going in about, I'm going to center that on there, and I'm going in, about 1/2 inch. You don't want to go into the part that says life is better, so you just punch that. Also, you'll notice I didn't do any burnishing, and I didn't do any burnishing on my pattern papers because I've got so much white going that I didn't like the contrast. So if you want to burnish, of course, you would do all that before you start gluing it all in place. So then I'm going to put it on here. And the reason I have to do these by themselves is the punch won't go through 3 of these cardstocks. So I'm going to center that on here, and then I'm going to punch out the rest of the notch. And actually, I would suggest to you that you do them one at a time, because when I do this other notch, it's pretty hard to do 2 of these cardstocks. I think they're around 85 pounds, and that's pretty sturdy. So I'm going to put this on the front. I'm going to center it. There we go. I just love this paper. It's so cute. And I'm going to turn it upside down so I can burnish it. And then I'm going to bring this hole punch in, and hopefully I'm going to be able to go through both of those. So I'm just kind of lining it up with that pattern paper, holding it, and then, oh my gosh, it won't go. Too hard. All right, so next, when you do yours, do them individually. So I'm going to have to cut this. And let me just come down here and do that. You know, sometimes you got to go to plan B. So I'm just going to cut that out. Could have used smaller scissors, I suppose, but I didn't bring any to the table because I didn't know this was going to mess up. Okay, So I'm going to take an emery board later on and then just smooth all that out. So I also put one of the blue ones on the bottom so I would know top from bottom. So we're going to slide this back in. So before I do that, I want to put the chipboard. I cut a chipboard that is 3 7/8 by 3 7/8, which I can't seem to find. So I'll show you on my sample. Inside the drawer is a chipboard, and it is cut 3 1/2 by 3 1/2. So I'm going to have to add that later on. Sorry about that. It just drops nicely in there, and then that gives you some support and substance for your drawer. So I'll just stick that back in there. Okay. Now, we're going to be putting on the elements. This is the fun part. I put most of these on with pop-ups and, of course, the glue. So I'm going to do the edges first, and then we'll get onto decorating our little goose up on the top there, whatever she is. I don't know what kind of bird that is. It looks like she's building a nice nest. So I'm going to use pop-ups. These are little embellishments that I found in a digital kit that was called Mermaid Chronicles, and they look like waves to me. So her name was Brianna Fritschman. I don't know if she's still designing. I haven't seen her stuff for a long time. But I'm going to put these on with pop-ups. And I'm going to do that by putting, I think, 3 on each one ought to do it. I'll just turn these over. Third. Okay. Remember, when you put your pop-ups on, you don't want to have them too close to the edge, because if you can help it, you don't want them to show. And you want them to be close enough inside so that they do give some kind of support to what you're putting on there. And when I designed my embellishments, I brought them into Photoshop, of course, and made them the size and the colors and everything that I wanted. And when I did up my template, I put these directionally faced so that I could have the little waves, going towards the front. And then also I wanted to point out to you, when I did my embellishments, I made 2. I put one image and then I flipped it so that you can glue them together like I did with this one. I did it before off camera, so that no matter which way you're looking at your project, you've got a whole piece. So I did that with the bottle, as well as the little a sign that says "To the Beach." Okay. And then I run that through a scan and cut that is a wonderful machine. So these 2 I can flip so that they're kind of going in the same direction. Gives a little symmetry. And the one in the back doesn't really matter which way it's going. So I'll just put this one back here. And then we've got our waves coming in. There we go. And then it's nice that the substance is kind of starting to firm up, so it's like it feels sturdy. It's a nice box that you're putting together here. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is put on my little seagulls. Now, I found all of these seagulls. I found them on the internet, and I thought they were pretty cute. And I've got them going in a couple different directions also. But I'm going to be laying these out flat, so it doesn't matter about the backside showing or not, because they won't. So I'm going to just use the tinier pop-ups and put some of these seagulls around. Come on. All right, so I'll put this one here. Just put a couple on each side. And they can kind of fly in both directions, or you can have them face each other. Whatever looks good to you. I mean, that's half the fun of working on these projects, is you put your character into what you're doing. So I'm going to have this one coming over here. And we'll put some on the front too. And press that down. And then I'm going to put one more on the front. And I think that's probably going to be enough for our purposes right here. I may add some more later. I added more on my other box because I really like the look of them. But you get the idea, and then you can kind of put them where you want, out and about on your box. All right, now this is going to be how we're going to do the top. I'm always telling everybody in my classes, easy on the glue, easy on the glue. Well, this is one instance where don't be easy on the glue. Get a little packet of goodies. What I have in here are, these are punch. These are actually grass punches from, dies. This is a die from Tim Holtz. And what we're going to do is we're going to use a big clump of glue. I'm going to put a big clump of glue up here to mark my center while I'm working, like that. And then I'm going to fold these back to give me a little ledge. And I'm just going to scrunch them together. And then using my bamboo stick, which I always have handy, I'm just going to press it into that glue because I want it to stand up. Now you have to be patient with this. You got to be slow, but at the same time you don't want all of your glue to dry. But see how I can push that around so that it starts to stand up there? And then I'm going to put a little bit of grass, and this is also a die called Tattered Florals, again from Tim Holtz. I'm just going to hold that down in the back there to keep that taller grass to stand up. So I'll just hold it in place for a second. Keep this guy up here. And it's just a matter of pushing and shoving. And then I'm going to put another one like this. I want it to look like she's, hiding out on her nest. So I'm going to bend this back again, set it in the glue. I'd be lost without bamboo sticks. I use them for everything. But see how it's kind of starting to look like a nest, sort of. I'll bring that in. And then I'm going to put another clump right here to help hold those in place before I put my goose in there. I don't know if she's a goose or what, but that's what I'm calling her. So see how that kind of holds those original taller grasses up? Okay. Now something else I'm doing along at the same time, and why I say it's okay to use all kinds of glue. Look, I'm going to put some more on here. This is so out of character, I love it. Is I want a little bit of sparkle on here. So this is an old puzzle box. And what I'm going to do is as I am putting the grass on there, I'm also going to be sprinkling a little bit of glue. A little bit of sparkle. And then just kind of knock it off. Not hard because you don't want to dislodge anything. So I'm going to do that a couple times while I'm building up the little flowers and the grass. So I'm going to put her in here now. So I'm going to cut off just, I want her to be kind of like that. So I'm cutting off just a little bit to have a flat edge. And I'm going to put some more glue on here. And I'm using lots of it because I'm going to cover, it dries clear, but I'm going to cover it up with the sparkle anyway. So I'm just going to put her right next to that flower. See that flower that's holding up those taller pieces? I'm putting her right in there so that she can stay there. And then I'm going to put a little bit more of this tall grass here, folding this back to give me a little edge to put my glue on. Put her right in here. There we go. Oh, see, looks like she's kind of starting to hide. Picked a good place for her nest. And you just gently hold that in place and pushing these back, and you'll kind of get a feel for it when you start doing that. And then I'm going to put a clump in the back to hold those and support them. See how this one is kind of falling down? If I move this in, it's going to support it. And you want everything to touch, but you don't want to smoosh them in there so that they're, shoving each other over. Give them a little bit of space, and they'll take care of themselves. Okay, and then I'll put some more of the clumps of grass. The dye is called Tattered Florals, but I use it so much for this type of work that I just call it grass. There we go. Yeah, I like how that's lining up. And I'll put a great big one in the front here. And I'm being very liberal with this glue because I want everything to stay in place. So I'm going to finish off the rest of her with more clumps of grass. And if you just hold it there, you can feel it kind of grabbing on, and you know it's going to stay in place. And I've already got the glitter in the back there, so we're going to add a little bit more when we finish with the clumps here. There we go. Okay, and I think I best put another one back here, because you want it to look rounded all the way around. There we go. Alright, so something else I want to do is, I think that looks pretty good for the grass. I've got one more left, so I might as well just put it in the front here. Whoops. Whoa, there's a bunch of glue. Alright, I'll just put it right in the front there. Not really supporting anything, but it looks good there. I'm going to leave it there. And I'm going to add the bottle. On this one, when I did the bottle, I just laid it down. But I think what I'm going to do is cut the edge a little bit and make it look like the bottle is coming up out of the sand. So I'll put some glue on here. And I'm just going to set that right in there. There. Then it kind of looks like it's coming up out of the sand or kind of stuck in there. All right, now I got some tiny seashells. So I'm going to do a little bit of glittering, just zigzagging some of this glue around. And I'm going to sprinkle it with the glitter. This glitter is white, but it also has just a touch of blue in it. So it was perfect for this project. Just dump that off. Don't tap anything, just let it fall naturally. Oh, that looks good. It's like decorative sand. And everything seems to be standing up good and kind of staying in its place. All right, looks good. So I'm going to glue in a couple of seashells. So I'll put a dab here. And add the shells. In case people didn't know that they were at the beach. I'll just put a few of these in here, 5 or 6, maybe 7. These are teeny tiny shells. You get at a craft store. Sometimes they'll have a whole packet of them. Now, if you have other things that you want to add to it, of course, that would put your little stamp on there and add things that you like. Okay, so I think that looks pretty dang good. I'm going to call that done. And I'll probably add some more of these seagulls, you know, of course, on the sides and on the back. So there you have it. We've got our little beach box. So you can pull it open, put in your goodies, and don't forget to put something on the bottom just to protect it. Okay, and there you have it. Okay, thank you so much for watching, and happy crafting.